Okay, Pibby Apocalypse demo. I know I was supposed to do versus online. You don't have to remind me and type it in the comments 100 times. But I just was not feeling like doing it. I just had no enthusiasm in the slightest. And I do these videos for the enthusiasm. It's fun, and it just wasn't feeling all that fun to do it. So I decided to get this video done first, and maybe a couple others, and then I will do versus online, I promise. Okay, let's get started on a few rules before we get started with the list. First off, I'm not ranking Suffering Siblings V1 or V3. V1 is not technically out in the mod anymore, and V3 was never officially put into the mod, so it would be wrong to count those. I am also not ranking the upcoming version of Child's Play, mostly because that isn't quite in the demo yet, so it would feel wrong to count it, since I'm also not ranking Suffering Siblings V1 or V3. It would just feel unfair. But everything else is fair game. The remaining 10 songs, we are good to rank. However, there was some negativity, and yeah, this first song was pretty negative, not gonna lie.
I used to believe that being a good soldier meant doing everything they told you. That's how they engineered us. But we're not droids. We're not programmed. You have to learn to make your own decisions.
Mindless. Okay, I'll be completely honest. That first, 30 seconds of the song actually hypes me up a lot. I really like this first 30 seconds and got this song started off on an incredible track. I was thinking, oh, we're gonna get another really good song, aren't we? And as soon as it ends, the song goes to really bad. The instrumental completely turns 180. Finn truly reveals how annoying his chromatic is. I'm being completely honest, this dude sounds like he's gotten a tonal, and that does not sound right in the slightest. It is so unbelievably annoying. These two just do not stop singing. They just keep going and going and going. They never take a minute to breathe, and it gets so ridiculously stupid. And this song is 4.5 minutes. It had no right to be 4.5 freaking minutes. It should have been 3 or 2.5, because all it feels like is just constant spam, and it's just so annoying. The only reason this song is not F tier is because, again, that first 30 seconds hypes me up a lot, and I do like it. I think it's a catchy beat, but the song just does not keep that energy going, and it just completely flops, and it's so stupid. And it's even worse when Finn pulls out his sword, because that's what the slashing notes, which do not sound good in this song, by the way. They don't sound good in Suffering Siblings either. They only sounded really good in Suffering Siblings V3, which is a shame because we don't get that, because I'll tell you in the mod, and now I'm mad because I want to listen to that song, but I can't because it's against the rules, and now I'm just mixed on the song. Oh wait, I remember it's bad, I don't want to listen to the song anymore. It's a D tier. Child's Play. The first song of the mod, and I think it's one of the weaker. Okay, this song is a little bit better than Mindless. Luckily, I think it's a C tier and not a D tier, but it does still have a lot of issues. First of all, I'm not a huge fan of Gumball's opening chromatic. It's not all that great. Like, I've grown used to it, but I think it could have been handled a little bit better. Also, this song had no business being almost 5 minutes long. Like, that is ridiculously stupid for the first song of the mod. No other song comes close to this besides maybe Mindless. But that was an issue. And, okay, I'll give him some credit. When Gumball gets corrupted, his chromatic gets changed up, and it's a lot better than what it was. And Boyfriend sounds pretty good, but I have one more issue with the song. Its instrumental is very bland and just feels like nothing at most parts. Yeah, I really had nowhere else to put this one. I don't even have a favorite part. It was just so weird, because most of the time I do, but this is one of the few times I don't have a favorite part. But yeah, Child's Play is just very boring. It should not have been 4 minutes. Maybe a little more, excitable. This was the start of the mod. I want something that's going to give me a little bit of energy. And this feels like it has none.
But that's simply not possible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
No Hero Remix. Okay, I'm surprised this one is not dead last. That being said, I'm still not the biggest fan of it. I want to get something out of the way first. As I've said in the past, art style means nothing on my rankings. So, I can focus on the song's music, then I can. And, no offense, but this is basically just Mindless if it was a lot better. It's got a really good beginning, and a just kind of meh rest of it, not gonna lie. There's nothing in this part I really enjoy except the beginning, and I guess the flashback section is kind of cool. It sounds kind of nice, but yeah, that's really all against flashback section. It's just pretty solid.
Great! The gang's all here. Now we could die together.
Suffering siblings. This one's actually kind of weird for me to talk about. Because, let me let you know a little secret. I have not listened to Suffering Siblings V2 very much. I'm more of a V3 kind of guy. No offense to anybody, but I think V3 is a lot better than V2 of Suffering Siblings. So when I first gave Suffering Siblings V2 its big listen after listening to V3 so many times, I was a little disappointed. Okay, let me get to some good things first. So all the melodies here are pretty good, not gonna lie. They sound a lot better in V3. They are still really good, and I like all the melodies. BF sounds nice. Finn sounds a lot better than he did in Mindless and No Hero Remix. Jake sounds okay. I'm not a huge fan of Jake's chromatic, but it's not bad, and I'll give it respect. It's not good. It's not the greatest, but it's good. And then there's the instrumental. It's not really doing much for me. I think sometimes a bit too much, and isn't really my cup of tea at points. And then there's another thing I want to talk about. The 2 negatives of the song. Actually, the 3 negatives. Okay, first of all, this song had no business being like 5 minutes long. It feels like nothing happens in those 5 minutes. Except for 2 things. And that being Pibby's starting to sing, which, no offense, Pibby's chromatic is not very good in this song at all. I much prefer in Blessed by Swords. And then there's the Forgotten World reference. I like Forgotten World quite a bit, we'll get to it later, but I think it's not used the greatest here, and definitely could have been a lot better. And then there's a slashing part with the gunshots. Yeah, that part's not really all that great, it's kind of dumb, no offense. It's a lot better in Beat 3. And then because of my final issue. It feels like after the slashing part, nothing really happened after that. It just feels like a very boring, generic beat, stuff we've already heard before.
Off a popular character or even iconic character in a movie franchise is an undeniably huge gamble.
Retcon. Okay, this one's a little bit weird to me because Retcon used to be my least favorite of Gumball's week until Child's Play truly showed how annoying it can be with its 5 minutes. That doesn't mean I'm a huge fan of Retcon though, but I have grown on it. Let's get my biggest negative out of the way first. Gumball's chromatic. I don't like how it sounds in a song much at all. It just feels very wrong. I guess that can be kind of applied to Boyfriend too, but I like how BF sounds, even though it is a bit weird, the chromatic they gave him. The instrumental is pretty good the entire way through. In fact, the instrumental is the reason I'm giving this a B tier and not a C tier. Darwin sounds fine when he sings, even though I don't think Darwin really should have been singing at all. It should have been our solo with BF and Gumball. Like, we're already getting Forgotten World. We don't need another song with Darwin in it. Considering Darwin's chromatic is not the greatest. It's not a bad chromatic, but it's just an okay chromatic. All the melodies are fine, but they're all somewhat forgettable at the end of the day. Like, nothing from the song really sticks out to me, and I don't really have a favorite part either. It's just, at the end of the day, a song I like, but that's really it.
Are you ready?
Ready for what?
If you remove that sword and defeat King Arthur with it, you shall forever be the worst of knights.
Alright. Blessed by Swords, the final B tier. This one was really close to being an A tier, but I have a small issue with that. That's being the instrumental. I'm not a huge fan of how it sounds. It just feels very boring and plain, and just really isn't my cup of tea in this song. That being said, that's my only issue with the song, because everything else is really good, to be honest. Finn sounds pretty good. This is probably his second best performance in the entire mod. Most of his other 3 performances weren't very good at all. Pibby sounds really good. She did a lot better than she did in Suffering Siblings V2. All the melodies are catchy, even though the song is a little too short, although I guess that does kind of fit. But yeah, that's really all I got for this song. It's just a good song, but just instrumental's too flat to really call it an A.
Looks like your date went pretty good, buddy.
I don't know. Was the hug okay? Give me some tips, Mang.
Bro, you gotta let things take their natural path.
Alright, Brotherly Love. The first and only A tier of the mod. And it actually frustrates me. This one is so close to S tier, it bugs me to no end. Because, let me say something. This beginning, minute is actually perfect. If they kept this intensity up, this would probably be my favorite song of the entire mod. Not even a question. That is how good I like this first minute. Jake sounds really good, and the instrumental is incredibly fire. It just sounds so good throughout the entire way through. that being said, after that first minute is over, the song just dies down, and I don't think it builds back up well enough to really dignify its S tier. It just is, I don't know, it just gets really boring after a while, that first minute. It's not really my cup of tea. It's still good, but just not really good or amazing. Like, if it was a little better, a few more minutes of the beginning, and just a little bit less of the slow parts, I would totally call this one an S tier. Maybe even an SS, but I just can't, you know? It really frustrates me too, because I really, really like this song. I want to say it's amazing, but I just can't.
Okay, everyone take the rest of the day off. I'm just gonna...
Forgotten World used to be my favorite song in this entire mod. Yep, that's not even a question. This used to be my favorite song. Unfortunately, two others grew higher than it, making this one a little lower. That being said, still has a lot of good things with it. Starting with this instrumental. This is the best instrumental in the entire mod. You will not change my mind on that fact. This is the best instrumental I've heard in a good while from this mod. Not in all time, but it is still a really good instrumental. The melodies, they all sound really good. I like every single melody that comes out of Forgotten World, especially in the first half, because it pairs super well with Gumball and Darwin. Also, a song with just Darwin is really nice. I'm glad he's getting a full song to himself, because he got half a song in My Amazing World, and he sung in Retcon, even though he really didn't need to sing in Retcon much at all. Didn't really add anything impactful, but you live with what you live with. Yeah, and then there's the second half. Okay, I have a small issue with this second half. So, the melodies get kind of quick and frantic, like a lot more than they would in any other song that has Gumball and or Darwin in it, and, well, it's good for the first 3 turns. I think after a while, it just gets kind of boring, especially due to the fact that after those 3 turns, it's just a repeat of what we heard in the past, which is, no offense, but that could have been handled a little bit better. Like, it's not awful, but really? That's what you give us? And then comes this ending. Yeah, this ending is not very good at all. It goes on for way too long. And for one last singing turn with Gumball, which doesn't even sound all that great, yeah, no, that ending is what held this song back from SS. I'm sorry. It was on the right track, but that ending ruined it. My Amazing World. The first SS of the mod. And it's a pretty high one at that. I really like this song. Which is funny because in the past, I actually disliked this song. I found it very boring and repetitive. But now, I don't know what I was thinking. This song is really good. It just hits all the right melodies in all the right places. Let's start with the chromatics. Gumball. He sounds a lot better than he did in his other 3 songs. Mostly because in Child's Play he was annoying, in Retcon he was a little off, and he's kind of tied actually for Forgotten World, but I first want a teeny bit more because the instrumental, which also this instrumental is really incredible. I really like how it sounds, and it's really close to beating out Forgotten Worlds, but again, I prefer Forgotten Worlds instrumental. All the melodies in the first half are really good. They all sound actually incredible, and I like how every single one of them is used. Also, this may sound weird, but Darwin sounds actually really good in this song. I don't know why, but his chromatic just works better than every other Darwin song out there, which is something I wouldn't really say for many other mods that have Darwin in them. Most notably, some like a fan-made song for Pibby Apocalypse, but it does still sound good, especially when these two are duetting. It just sounds so good. These two have a perfect duet section. It is easily my favorite part of the entire song, and you won't change my mind on that. This song knew what it was going for, and it gave me a good time. Come Along With Me, the most popular song in this entire OST, and I think it's the best. Yeah, it wasn't much of a question here. This is the song that really got me into this mod in the first place, so it's not a surprise that this song made it as high as it did. And that's due to an absurd amount of good reasons. Starting off with this Faker phase. I actually really like it. It's really nice and soothing, even when Finn starts staticking out, which usually I'm not a huge fan of that evil eye bolt, but it does work here, and I think it's not the longest, so I can kind of vibe with it. And then, when Finn truly reveals himself, that's when the melody finally starts kicking in. It just sounds really, really good. It just hits all the right marks in its melodies. The instrumental is really good. I wouldn't call the instrumental the best ever, but it's definitely top 3 of the entire OST. Not even a question. And the second Boyfriend finally shows his face, actually shows his face, the song really starts picking up steam in its melodies. Every melody from when Boyfriend shows his face to basically the ending is all incredible, and it's all an easy SS. Now, I do have a slight issue with this song. I feel it can get a little repetitive with its melodies, but it's not awful, and it's similar to Satanic Funkin', which, again, I did like Satanic Funkin', even though its melodies were repetitive. They were, at the end of the day, still really good melodies. And this is just basically Satanic Funkin', but better. With its melodies, not in its better placement in its SS. I just think it's really good. Even the second Faker half, which does come out of nowhere, but still sounds really good and really smooth. I like how it sounds. Everything else after that is just pretty good. I don't say it's all that I won't say it's all that incredible, but it's still amazing. Yeah, that's what I gotta say on this song. And with that, we have completed Pibby Apocalypse demo. This OST has definitely grown on me since its first listen, back when I used to actually hate this OST, but it has gotten a lot better over time. I still would call it the weakest of the big four, but to be fair, this one is slowly catching up to Darkness Takeover. That being said, it's not beating out Glitched Legends or Pibby Corrupted 1.5, which don't worry, I'll get to all three of those in the future. But until I do, this is my current tier list. Yeah, I know, it's kind of a weird tier list, mostly with Mindless being in dead last, and same can be said for Child's Play, but when the OST gives me a bunch of songs that are long and not at all consistently good, what do you expect me to do? Now, the next mod I rank is going to be a surprise for you guys. I'll explain more in the following days to come, but until next time, I'll see you then.